Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session of Expert Talks. My name is Nugua, and we have Erin Fordham with us, the co-founder of Oasis Fertility Support Network. Welcome, Erin, and um, could you tell us a little more about your journey into founding Oasis Support Fertility Support Network and what it's been like so far?
Yeah, I would love to. Thanks for having me on for this. It's great to be part of the work that you're doing with Fibra. And I'd love to talk a bit about Oasis. It's definitely my passion project. It's something I do as a volunteer. And I founded it with a number of other women 2 years ago. And we started out as a nonprofit. And then now we're a national registered charity in Canada. And we started this organization, I mean, me specifically, after my 10-year journey through infertility and really struggling to start my family. And when I was going through that 10-year fertility experience, there were so many moments for me of isolation, of heartbreak, of uncertainty. And early on, I found a local support group here that really became my lifeline to support and community and finding other people who were going through it and struggling alongside me. You know, it was sort of a Me Too feeling of they get it, they understand, they've been here, they know that feeling of not attending their best friend's baby shower or, the devastation of a loss. And so being surrounded by other people who got it was really a massive change for me on my journey. And I do believe it was the key to getting through it. And so, that sense of community became a lifeline. I realized that I could never go back to a world where fertility struggles were hidden. And so, after having success on my journey and about a year postpartum, I decided, alongside a bunch of other women who were in the support group at the time, to launch something so that we could create something that was bigger than ourselves. We could, plant this support group, so to speak, in every community across Canada so that nobody would have to go through this journey alone, so that anybody could find community at whatever part of their journey that they're on. And so together we took that leap and founded the nonprofit, so that we could offer the same support to people everywhere. And we have big, big dreams. We're just getting started, I feel like, but we're actively running 18 support groups today, and yeah, growing very quickly.
Oh, wow. Amazing. That's such an emotional journey. And I
Hmm.
applaud you and the other amazing women who came together to found Oasis. I'm just curious, were these women that you knew from, like, how did you get to know these women that you founded it with? Was it like, because now it's more like a sisterhood. And
It is.
were these friends that you had along the journey of fertility, or were these friends that you knew from like way back?
Yeah, so when I was in my support group as a member, as a group member attendee, I kind of found these friends who we walked the journey together, and honestly, we still do life together today. Those women weren't part of founding the organization. It was when I came back and started leading the group, and it was the women who were participating in that conversation who ended up coming alongside to really, take this to another level. And so the bravery of those women who were in the journey are still some of them in the journey today. To have the bravery, have, the um I don't know what you call it, the just pure bravery to be outspoken, to be vulnerable about their journey publicly while they're still in the midst of it. I just find that truly remarkable. And so, yeah, we're newer friends, but we have become very close. It definitely is like a sisterhood. And yeah, they're incredible. And they all bring such different and unique perspectives and gifts to our board of directors and to our volunteer team. We're really, really, really lucky to have the
Aw.
women that we do on our
That
team.
is
Yeah.
that's so sweet. That is so sweet. So I guess the next question I had was, what's the most rewarding part of your job? This is
Um,
definitely, you said you have about 18 support groups and counting now.
yes,
Wow.
that's
So
right.
yeah, so that is, and how long ago was Oasis founded?
In March 2022. So we just
Wow.
passed our 2-year anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's picking up traction quickly and finding folks to lead the support groups, folks who have lived experience. That's who we have in those seats who are leading the conversations for the people who are going through it that put those groups in different towns. We have 12 in-person locations in Ontario currently
Wow.
and plans to grow across Canada. The rest of the groups are virtual, so we don't want there to be barriers to access to support. And
Mm-hmm.
so if we can have virtual groups where conversations can be joined from anywhere in the country, in any time zone, in any country in the world, really,
Mm-hmm.
then that's supportive to our mission, which is that there be no barriers to support. Um, so, so yeah, I guess there's so many amazing rewards, I would say, intrinsic rewards for sure of this job. We'll call it a job.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, seeing people go from feeling completely alone to feeling held and seen and understood when someone says, I finally feel like I'm going to get through this, when they, maybe 2 days ago felt like I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna get through this. I remember having those feelings myself. I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's everything. And that really is what like lights me up. It makes me want to keep going and keep
Mm-hmm.
making sure that there's support. Another piece I love is really just building bridges and community between the patients and professionals, between clinics and the local communities, between stories and support.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just about peer support, we also have a podcast. We also have a live show that we run every Wednesday night so community can find support and education
Mm-hmm.
and resources and different topics that we're covering. So we have so much going on. It's all very rewarding seeing people just find hope, at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, watching that shift is just really meaningful.
Amazing. Amazing. That sounds very rewarding indeed. And um I also wonder like the in terms of all the support groups, do you have like a how do I put it? So do you have like a size limit or like a group limit? So is this a very intimate setting? Women our group size is usually like not supposed to exceed a certain number.
Yeah, we find group support sort of the maximum that we want in a group is 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
And that even that size can be quite large. We'll split into two kind of conversations sometimes, depending on the setting. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with our virtual conversations, we definitely keep it under 10 because having, not even like the conversation happening like at the same time is
Mm-hmm.
different again, giving
Yeah.
people sort of a chance to talk. But very early on in the organization, one of the first things we did is we wrote a book about how to lead a support group. And so we wrote a training book so that everybody who joins our organization as a conversation starter to lead a group understands how to facilitate the conversation, how to hold space for the hard things, how to keep things positive, how to bring things back on track. We
Mm-hmm.
have housekeeping notes at the start of every group so that everybody understands sort of the ground rules when we get into the conversation. So we try and keep things really equal and positive and obviously hopeful. And we always say to the women I mean, we're starting a men's group, so I can say men now, who join our groups, this isn't just about what you're going to get from the support group, it's about what you can also give. And don't underestimate the power of your own story and what you bring to this group and the information you've learned on your journey and the things that you know that you're bringing here, the things that you might have learned through your last therapy session, or the things that you might have learned through your doctor, and bring that information here because everybody has something to get from this group and everybody has something to give. So we really encourage our group members to, be part of the conversation and, don't just get from the people, but give back as well.
And key takeaway I got from that was everyone has something to give.
Hmm.
Very empowering and inspiring. And thanks a lot, Emily. Thanks a lot. So, I was going to ask the next question. What would you say is the most common challenge you see people in the Oasis network facing, or like the Oasis community facing, and how do you, or like not you, like how does the team help them with that?
Yeah, I mean, infertility in itself is a huge, huge challenge. It's a life-changing diagnosis for most people, especially coming from a heterosexual couple where they didn't know that this was going to be something they faced and they were going to have to go through.
Hmm.
And there's two major reasons why people stop fertility treatment. The first is the financial burden, and people stop treatment. The biggest challenge is the cost barrier to treatment. But the second reason why people stop fertility treatment is because of the emotional toll and the mental health toll that it plays on a person. And so we can eliminate the cost at Oasis, but what we can do, what we're working to do, is show up powerfully for their mental and emotional needs. And so we believe that peer support is a key component to emotional and mental health support. And so we're solving that problem, we're solving that challenge, or we're trying to by creating space for people to talk about their story, share with other people. And so yeah, I believe that the number one support or the number one challenge we see in our support groups is fertility burnout. It's that mental health piece. And so, I mean, fertility burnout is so real. People go on this journey and they run so hard and so fast at the beginning, and all of a sudden it's like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then you're giving up your dream of having a family. And so we want to bring people together so that they have this feeling of community. They know they're not going it alone. They know that they're going to keep on, going through the journey and go longer through the journey if they have to, because they have support. So we're going to give people tools to advocate for themselves, navigate options, connect with other people who've been there, the support groups, education, one-to-one mentorship if we have to. It all helps people stay engaged and emotionally resistant, in one of the hardest seasons of their lives.
Mm. Well, it is hard. I think, yeah, I would, I can't exactly say I'm in the capacity to say I agree with you on that because I haven't been through that, but it's something that I hear stories about a lot. Like not apart from the financial toll that it takes on the couple, it's just the emotional and mental toll it takes as well. For
Yeah.
example, a couple doing IVF and having to inject yourself all the time or like having to do the test and even just seeing a field or hearing back from your doctor, like everything can just be like you are juggling a million things at once and they're all
Yeah.
falling apart and you have no control over it. So I definitely understand that perspective.
Yeah.
Um,
And the mental pressure is it plays a huge role. We've had, during the past 3 years that we've been operational at Fibra, we've had a lot of interactions with women through different events that we are part of and the different exhibitions that we exhibited at Fibra. And I've had a lot of couples coming to me who've been going through the fertility journey, opening up about how tough it was on their mental health. And
Mhm.
I had one person telling me the story of somebody that they know that, and they've been trying for pregnancy for 5 years. They went through multiple rounds of IVF. It was extremely stressful. And then exactly at the time that they decided that that's enough, we're not going to worry about it, we're not going to do anything about it, they got pregnant. So the stress, the anxiety, it plays a huge role in terms of the outcome, but also the journey itself. And sometimes unfortunately it takes a toll on their marriage. And
Huge
it plays
tool.
a huge role. Yeah.
hmm
yeah.
That's such an interesting story. And I feel like everybody knows somebody with a story like that, but it actually is such a rare, rare, rare outcome on this journey. But always the hope that we have that maybe that could happen. But it honestly has nothing to do with like relaxing or, it's just a miraculous conception at that point because there's no explanation to how that happened. And even if like the most educated fertility doctor would not be able to explain that to you because literally that's just a complete miracle after going through all of that they did with IVF and with trying. So it's wild. The human body is honestly so hard to understand. And, just the journey in itself, going through, I mean, it is a medical diagnosis, it's a medical condition. It's literally, in my mind, equivalent to being like, I had cancer, and then one day I didn't. It just went away. Like that is that's the same as somebody just trying for 7 years and then just miraculously getting pregnant. It doesn't make any sense. But they are out there, that's for sure. But there's definitely nothing you can do to fix your fertility. In terms of, I mean, there's lots you can do that's supportive to the treatment. There's lots of you can do that's supportive to your health. And I'm not a doctor, but there's definitely not one thing that's going to fix this, you know, and there's not one thing causing it either. People say all the time when I talk about this topic, what's causing this infertility? Why is it on the rise? And my answer is always like, well, what's causing the cancer? What's causing, you know, all of the other illnesses, all of the other sicknesses, all of the other issues that are in our health at the moment? There's not just one thing. There's so many things. And so we can't just say like, oh, it's because of stress or it's because of what we eat. It's what we eat. It's what we put on our bodies. We put in our bodies. It's, you know, all of the things. And so yeah, it's hard to pinpoint it. But anyways, I got a little off track there. So like feel free to rein me back in.
That's okay. I mean, it was very interesting hearing you give this perspective. The truth is sometimes you can never really tell how the journey is until you're actually the one experiencing the journey. Seeing someone close to you or seeing your friend doesn't equate to you actually being the one experiencing it. So I
Mhm.
totally understand
Yeah.
what you mean. Um, so I guess another thing is, how do you think fibra would complement naturally existing conception methods? So, without the assisted reproductive technology, how can women who or couples who are trying to conceive use fibra to aid this process?
I mean, I'm a huge believer in, I love AI. I'm a big believer in like making life easier. If there is something that can make my life easier, I'm here for it. And so I think Fibra has the potential to be just a beautiful and empowering companion for anybody who's trying to conceive, especially in the early stages when you know, before they're in clinic settings, or I mean, even alongside treatment plans. I think that by helping people understand their cycle with more precision and ease, it supports both the natural conception and the medically assisted pathways as well. I mean, as women, I got to know my cycle so well. You know, once I started tracking it, and I was like, I know exactly what day I'm on. And now I know I don't even have to look at the app anymore because I just know because I tracked it for so long based on how I feel that day, where I must be in my cycle or what I want to eat, you know, or how tired I feel. It's like, oh my gosh, we must be at the end of this thing. Like, let's go. Let's get this period started so we can have some energy back again. But we don't realize that as women. Like, we don't pay close enough attention. And I think we're so detached from our bodies and our periods because it's this burden that we carry for our whole lives. Where I think we can actually use it as a tool to, like, you know, be more productive at certain times of the month, be more athletic at certain times of the month, and be more, you know, there's all kinds of stuff we can use our cycle to help us with in life. But I think understanding your body, understanding your cycle, and tracking it is key. And so giving people a tool or having access to a tool that is doing it for us, and we don't even have to like, I don't even, you know, even just turning up. Right now I use an app, opening the app on day one, putting it in there to remember to do that. Sometimes I'll forget and then I'll be like, oh, when did that start again? You know, and then, you know, when it comes down to tracking ovulation and all of that for the trying to conceive period. I mean, it's brilliant. It's so exciting. So I think that it's going to be a really exciting time to see how this goes and to see, you know, how folks use it. I love that it's intuitive and uses technology to give users like really meaningful insights about their bodies. So I think that kind of confidence that people are going to get from using this product, it could be really game changing for them.
Thank you. That's quite, you couldn't have said it better. I think for the longest time, women have seen periods as like this thing that is some kind of hard to understand. And then maybe those who have gotten the hang of it are a tiny fraction. But then there's always these questions from adolescents, from young adults, and even women about like what's truly going on and not having answers. So we're glad that we're finally getting to a point where we'll have the answers on our smartphones and literally on our fingertips. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah.
So my final question would be, what
Actually,
excites?
before we go to the final question, I really liked how you mentioned you started being more proactive about where you are, and then you paid closer attention to where you are within the menstrual cycle, and then you didn't
Mhm.
even need to ultimately check your app anymore. And then the problem with the app is they are extremely generic. So they take a very generalized algorithm and they apply that to every single woman on earth. Women
Right.
who have PCOS, endometriosis, I have PCOS too, and my app is never accurate for me. And I've been using that for the past 7 years. So
Mhm.
you would thought that it, with enough amount of information, it will be somewhat accurate, but it's not. And that's the problem of the app. Um, it's very accessible. It's good. It's on your smartphone. It's very easy, cheap, but it ultimately goes back to women wanting to have a personalized data on their reproductive health system.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like knowledge is power, right? If we understand our bodies, if we understand our cycle. And I mean, get like let's crush the stigma that like the period is bad. The period is great. This is what like this is the key to creating life. Like we need this information in order to, solve this problem of the birth rate, solve this problem of infertility, or at least assist the diagnosis of infertility. But I mean, for the people that are able to use sperm donation and IUI to start their family, like this is a great, support to those journeys. And I think that I think it's going to be really, really helpful. So I'm excited to see how it all goes.
Yeah, very exciting. And that leads me to the final question.
Yes.
What excites you the most about Fibra?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, just back to the last question, answer education, like just empowering people with education. I mean, especially for the next generation. Women don't learn about their cycles or folks with a uterus, they don't learn about their cycles early enough. So FIBRA's creating, I mean, this amazing gateway, I think, to understanding earlier. And, you can get women into these underwear when they're young, when they're like learning about their bodies and using that education, using that information to lead to earlier action, better planning, fewer surprises, If they understand their window that they can get pregnant, imagine how much we can avoid, pregnancy at that young age when, they're more fertile. So I think it's a great tool. I'm excited for folks to get their hands on it. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Erin. Pardon, did you have something to say?
No, I think Erin covered it perfectly. We're also very excited about the work that you're doing and the fact that you have put a lot of focus on helping couples who are going through the stage after our product, technically, like when they are going through IVF and they're going through IVI because IUI, because there is a huge need for mental health support. There are some organizations in Canada which are charity organizations. They provide a little bit of financial support, but there is not enough support for the mental health aspect of that journey. And I love what you're doing.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And you're so right. There really is a lack of free support too. Support where there's no barriers to care, where there's no cost barrier, where
Mhm.
there's no location barrier. So I think that, yeah, what we're doing is key. And I hope that, our name gets out there and people are able to track us down. If you're looking for Oasis, shameless plug, it's oasisfsn.com. And we'd love to connect with you. Please do follow us and yeah, come join us on the live one night. And maybe once you ladies get going with this product and it's up and running, we'll get some like TTC episode happening on Fertility Village, where we can, have a panel of people talking about products to support TTC from an early stage. That'd be great.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I
for
was just
sure.
about to
We would
say,
love
tell us
to.
where to find you, but I guess you already did that. Is that Oasis across all platforms? We need our viewers to know where exactly to find you.
Yeah, yeah. So the website address is oasisfsn.com, and then we're at Oasis FSN across all platforms. Yeah,
Amazing. Thank you. And it's free to join. No fees, no hidden charges,
yeah.
all the
You got it.
Great.
Podcast comes out twice a month. The live is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. You can join us live on Instagram, on YouTube, or on Facebook. And the support groups happen on the fourth Monday of every month simultaneously in all locations. So everybody's having the same conversation, getting support at the same time. So sign up is
Amazing.
open. You can find the sign up sheet on our website or on our Instagram page.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Erin. You've been such a pleasure to have on today's episode. And thank you so much, Pioneer, as well, for providing expert insights into the technicalities of the products. And it's been an amazing time. I guess this is the end, or we've come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Erin, and do have a lovely day.
You too. Thanks for having
Thank you.
me.
Thank you.
Both of you take care.